So today I'm going to take you through 10 stretches that are going to help to prepare you for the surf and also get you ready for any trips that you're going on, as well as help you to recover after the surf so you can maximize the surfing on the trip. Hi, I'm Jodi. I'm the resort director and head coach in Barbados for Women Waves. I'm also a sports rehabilitation therapist and yoga teacher. Stick with us till the end of the video. I'm going to talk to you about opening your hips, which is a game changer for your pop-up, as well as just being comfortable sitting on your board for long periods of time. So the first muscle group we're going to look at are the pecs. So the pecs are the front of the chest, and they are used for mostly in paddling, but also in duck diving and in the pop-up. They're really important. And also for most of us who spend a lot of time sitting in our regular day jobs, the pecs get really tight just from that action of sitting. So we're gonna start with the pec stretch, pec major stretch, so the bigger pec muscle. Hand is gonna come against the wall. You want your palm flat into the wall. The tendency is that we tend to kind of crabby the hand. I want you to really engage and press the palm in, get the shoulder into the wall, and then draw the tummy in so that as we begin to twist, the head stays in line with the chest. As we begin to twist, we don't poke the ribs out. We keep that engagement here. The back of the ribs stays full. So you're breathing again into the whole back of the body. And you're gonna stay here for up to 5 breaths. You're gonna do this on both sides. So this is a variation of the pec stretch as well. This is more engaging the pec minor. And if that's enough for you at the wall, maybe you stay at the wall. But if you want a little more, this is a really useful one to take it deeper. So we'll come down onto the belly and we'll place our hands in what I call cactus arms. So elbows in line with shoulders, wrists in line with elbows. And then you're going to turn your head to face one arm. Doesn't matter. We'll do both. So facing the left hand then comes under the shoulder. The right hand stays engaged. And then we just begin to press ourselves away into the twist. For some people, again, this might be enough, just twisting the shoulder. If you feel like you want a little more, you can begin to lift the leg and twist all the way back. And this is a nice deep stretch. Again, you want to stay here for up to 5 breaths. And then as you release slowly out of this. This can be a little intense. So take your time, come down and rest before you change to the opposite side. The next group we're going to look at is the upper traps and the trapezius in general. So this is a big muscle, again, in surfing with the paddling as well as in the pop-up. And this muscle, again, it relates tension really strongly up through the neck into the head. Some people get migraines or headaches. So relieving that stress that's held there can be really useful for, again, longevity in your surfing, as well as being able to maximize what you can get out of your trip. So for our next upper trap stretch, it's going to be sitting on the mat in whatever position is comfortable for you. You can sit in Virasana, sitting on your heels, or you can sit cross-legged. You can even do this on a chair. And you're just going to reach your hands away from you actively, like you're trying to get something that's just out of your grip. And then taking one hand is going to go all the way up and around to rest on the air. You're not pulling your air. The hand is just there for reference. It's just helping to guide your air, the right air, towards the right shoulder as you reach through the fingertips on your left hand. You're drawing your belly and you're drawing your shoulder blades towards each other on the back of the body. And you're going to feel a nice intense stretch all the way through the upper traps, maybe even into the arm, into the triceps. You can get a little stretch here. And you're going to hang out here for 5 breaths. And then releasing, you can use your hand to just bring yourself back to center, and then changing sides. The next muscle group we're going to look at trying to relieve in stretching are the lats. And again, this is the big power muscle that we use when we're pulling, particularly when we're paddling. This muscle gets a lot of overuse. If you're paddling for 2 hours on a trip, you're going to really feel it. So we're going to look at how we can lengthen that out post-surf. Again, that recovery time really helps to increase the longevity, the amount that you can surf, as well as the amount of days you can surf back to back. We're going to start with eagle arms, which is a really nice way to just create that space at the back of the body. So you can take your arms wide to start and just open out. And then as you come in, you're going to take one arm above the other and you're trying to hook your elbows and bring your palms towards each other. If you can't get that deep, that's okay. You can just hook wrists or you can hold the forearm. But if you can, get deep enough that you can bring the palms towards each other, that'll really maximize the stretch. And then what you want to think about doing is keeping the hands away from the face, letting the shoulder blades settle down the back of the body, the shoulders settle away from the ears, drawing the belly in. Then you're going to start to lift the elbows. And again, that drawing of the shoulder blades towards each other, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. You're going to really feel that in the upper traps as well as in the lats. Then we'll open out and we'll change sides. So opposite elbow comes on top. And again, we lift and we release the shoulder blades down the back. The thread the needle pose, one version of the thread the needle pose for the shoulders, we're going to start on our hands and knees. You're going to take the knees a little bit wider so they're just at the edge of your mat, and keep your toes tucked under so that the legs are nice and active. Then you're going to bring your forearms down. You want to try and keep your hips and your knees in the same plane, so don't let your hips come forward or go back. Keeping that balance there is going to really help to maximize the stretch in the upper body. Keeping the legs engaged means you're going to connect to your pelvis, and that you're not going to allow your pelvis to turn as you take it into the twist. You're going to keep one hand down. You're going to inhale, take that other hand up to the sky, opening up the chest. And then you're going to thread that under and come to rest all the way down on the right side of the shoulder, the right side of the face in this version, and this side. And keeping, again, that action in the legs. So I'm not letting my pelvis twist. I'm keeping my hips balanced. And here, I'm reaching out through my fingers, and at the same time, drawing my belly and drawing my shoulder blades on the back. You can take it a little deeper if you want to. You can take the hand across the body over to the other side of the mat, or you could even take the hand around the back of the body and hook it on to the inner thigh of the right side. And really open up through the chest as you draw the belly in, reach out through the fingers, draw the shoulder blades on the back. And you're going to breathe fully here, 5 full breaths. And then we'll change over to the opposite side. We'll come back to the hands and the knees. Again, we'll come back down to the forearms. We'll inhale, opposite arm up, and then thread that arm under and come to rest on that side. You can hang out here as we reach the fingertips through and draw the shoulders back. Legs engaged, hips balanced. Walk over for a deeper stretch or wrap around for a deeper stretch. As we come back to the center, we're going to take it into a child's pose. So you can keep the knees wide, bring the big toes together, and bring your hips all the way back to rest on your heels. You can stay in this child's pose, letting the chest rest between the knees. This is really releasing for the shoulders, getting the chest close to the ground. As you exhale, you want to think about letting the shoulder blades wrap onto the back of the body. For some people, having the forehead resting is more comfortable. If you're more comfortable resting the chest, that's fine too. And then you can reach out through the fingertips. And as you plug the fingertips in, you're thinking about, again, drawing the shoulder blades onto the back of the body, drawing the belly in. So this is a little bit more of an active child's pose. Even though it is a restorative still, you're bringing a little more action into the arms, and that's going to get you deeper into the lats. You can release and then bring the palms together and bring the palms to the back of the head. Again, this can be really nice for the lats as well as the triceps, and get you a little deeper into that stretch, letting the chest come down to the ground. When we release, we'll come back to placing the palms under the shoulders, really connect to the palms. So that action of pressing down, index knuckles engaged, finger pads engaged, all of that attention to grounding helps to draw us into our shoulders. Our shoulder blades are going to settle onto the back of the body. The belly draws in, we tuck the toes under, and then we'll lengthen ourselves up into a downward dog. From the grounding of the feet, from the grounding of your palms, you're lengthening up to your sits bones, and then as you draw your belly in, allow your heart, the center of your chest, to get closer to the ground. 5 full breaths. Lastly, we're going to look at our hamstrings and our hips and trying to create as much ease there as possible. Not only is this useful for the pop-up as well as sitting on the board, but it's also when you've been standing and surfing a lot in that crouch position, these muscles get really engaged, really tight. So helping to relieve that a little bit, it just helps again with that longevity. You can get back on your board quicker and get as much out of your trip as you possibly can. So next we're going to talk about opening our hamstrings, and I'll show you as we come on down to lie on the back. We're going to start to ground the legs. This is really useful, not just for opening the hamstrings, but also just for creating a grounding sensation in the body. Really good for anxiety, helpful to keep us feeling steady. The feet are active, the legs are active, so I'm pressing down with the back of my legs. I'm also engaging my inner thigh, so I'm drawing to the center and drawing my belly in. Then I'm going to bend one knee, hold the back of that thigh with my clasped palms, and then I'm going to begin to extend the leg. To your degree, it might get straight, it might not get straight. That's okay, wherever it gets to, absolutely perfect. But the action of grounding is the key. So this thigh stays really actively pressing down, and this thigh begins to press into the palms. I resist by drawing my shoulder blades onto the back. So I don't bend my elbows, keep my biceps out of the equation, just using the stabilizing muscles of the shoulders to create a boundary to press the thigh into, and then reach up into that heel. And this is awesome, not just for the hamstrings, it gets into the calves, gets that whole posterior, so the whole back of the leg action, really opening wide all the way to the soles of the feet. And this is a really nice deep stretch. You're gonna hold for 5 breaths on one side, and when you're ready, you'll release, and bending the opposite leg, we'll hold the back of the thigh. Again, that action of grounding is key. Left thigh stays pressing down, right thigh into the palms, resisting by drawing the shoulder blades on the back, drawing the belly in, and reaching up into the heel of that extended leg. Spread the toes and find your breath. So this next variation of thread the needle is a great hip opener. Really useful again for surfing, for the sitting on the board. Sitting for long periods on a wide board can really tighten your hips, but also this will really maximize your pop-up. Having open hips means that you can move smoothly into the pop-up quickly. So we're gonna bend our knees, place the feet flat on the ground. You're gonna cross one leg over the top. There's creating a space. This is where we're going to thread the needle through, and you're going to take the same hand, as the leg that's crossed, and you're going to bring those hands then to clasp at the back of your thigh, the opposite thigh. So you're holding once again that thigh strongly. The pressing of the thigh away is going to help to really create a little bit more balance in your pelvis. So you're not rounding your spine here and creating a little turtle shell. You think about pressing away and lengthening the spine. The feet are active, the shoulder blades draw back, and you want to watch for that tendency for the chin to lift here. Gently tuck the chin, lengthen the back of the neck, draw the shoulder blades onto the back. Again, you're going to hang out here for 5 breaths, keeping engaged throughout the movement. When you're ready, you release. You're going to change opposite sides, take the opposite leg across, same side hand is going to clasp at the back of the thigh. Now for some people, they might be quite open in the hips and they might want a little more. So you can, when you're ready, take your hands to the front of the shin. Same action, pressing the shin away now. Feet are still active. Length through the back of the spine. Watch that your ribs don't poke out, so keep the back of the ribs down. You can breathe into the back of the ribs. Draw the belly in, draw the shoulder blades on the back. Lengthen the back of the neck. When you're ready, release. As promised, now we're going to talk about the hip opening that's going to help change the way you pop up, really making that smoother, that transition, as well as the seated positioning. It's going to be a game changer for you. From here, we're going to take this into the next hip opening pose. So we're going to take it into a pigeon pose. So you come back to your hands and your knees. Some people like to come into this from a downward facing dog, but if you find that hip mobility is not the easiest thing for you, then staying on the hands and knees is absolutely fine. And you're going to draw the knee forward to the same side wrist and then begin to walk this foot up towards the opposite wrist. You'll take your back knee back, and this angle is proportional to how open your hips are. If you're not so open in the hips, you can keep that angle in the knee a little bit more acute. If you want a little bit deeper opening, keep this angle a little more open so the shin is more parallel with the front of the mat. Keeping the back toes tucked under and keeping this front foot open, kind of a active or kind of a game changer. This action of connecting from the feet into the pelvis really helps to lengthen the pose and create more space in the hip. Again, these poses are so useful for a pop-up. You can almost see that this is a precursor to the pop-up, this position. And that action of lengthening here is going to mean that you're creating much more space in the hips rather than just hanging into the pose, which is not quite as productive. So keep that action of lengthening, and then you're going to then bring the forearms down to the earth. and hang out here. It's really tempting once we get into this position of coming down to kind of get floppy in the pose, but I want you to keep the feet active, keep that connection to the pelvis, almost like you were just about to pop up. This is going to really help to maximize the space in the hips. And from here, again, you hang out for 5 breaths. You can then come back either to the hands and the knees, or you can step into your downward facing dog. The transition is a little more open from the downward dog. From the downward dog, you can just step the foot forward, take the knee wide, bring the back knee down. And again, just setting yourself up, strong legs, then begin to fold forward. Don't allow the hips to twist. Try to keep that balance in the hips. And as you bow forward, as you get a little more open, rather than letting the head lead the way, think about letting the chest or the heart space lead the way. So it's the chest that actually gets closer to the earth. And you can settle yourself into the pose as deeply as you want to. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know more about our surf-specific yoga, join us on one of our Barbados trips. I'd love to see you there.